Hello and welcome to my third guide for Unusual Force. This video is going to be less about Unusual Force system mechanics and more about strategy. This video also assumes you know everything I discussed in my first two videos, so I'd recommend watching those first. Effective range is essentially the circle around you where you pose a threat. For example, a style with two quick steps like Assassin has a larger effective range than a style with only one like Clinch, because Assassin is able to quickly close the distance and attack, unlike Clinch. It's important to know what your style's effective range is as well as your opponent's effective range in order to win. You'll start getting a feel for the effective range of every style the more you play. The first thing I'll be going over after effective range is something known as neutral, which contains a large number of topics. Neutral is not a system, it's simply a concept. It's described as the state in which neither player has an inherent advantage or disadvantage, meaning neither player is rising from a hard knockdown and neither player is blocking. It's the footage you're watching right now. It's that part where both players are looking at each other, waiting to see what happens. Footsies itself is a simple concept, but it's harder than it seems. Footsies, to put it simply, is moving with purpose in neutral. A lot of the time you'll see players walking back and forth and circling around the opponent while the game is in a neutral state. You could say that they're doing footsies, but it's important to note that footsies is not random movement, it is intentional movement. The purpose of footsies is maintaining a threat while also staying safe. Spacing is, to put it simply, staying outside of your enemy's effective range while staying within your own. If that's too technical, then think of it this way. Stay far enough away that you can react if the enemy tries to attack you, but close enough that you can hit them if they whiff a move or do something else dumb. All extended combos in Unusual Force have something in common. Firstly, all real combos I'm looking at you officer players either include concussing or juggling the opponent. Second, all combos include an extension of some sort. The reason I mention this is because with all styles, finishers are combo enders. The only way to make a combo longer is to extend it, which can be done with certain skill moves like Flash's S1 during a juggle, or in the case of Rusher, a light reset. I will explain the light resets in the Rusher guide once I make that, because it's the only style where it's all that relevant. Knowing what moves start and extend your combos is vital to creating an effective offense. It's also important to note that juggling opponents has damage fall off, meaning the more you hit a juggled opponent, the less damage your hits do. There's no strict description that says what archetype of style in Unusual Force falls under, so I'll list a few that I think make sense. It's important to remember that most styles can find success with any playstyle if you do it right, so many styles can fit into multiple archetypes. However, certain styles have tools better accommodating certain strategies. The first archetype is what I'm going to call counter styles. Counter styles are styles where the entire strategy is to make your counter such a threat that the enemy allows you to freely carry out your offense. The three I can think of are Snake, Officer, and Dancer, the third of which I'll get to later. Rushdown styles are styles that want to be in your face and apply as much pressure as they can. Rushdown styles usually have quick movement and a way to close the distance, and styles that I believe fall under this category are Rusher, Boxer, and Operator. The next archetype is the opposite of rushdowns, zoners. A zoner is a style that wants to keep you at arm's length to control the pace of a match. They tend to have good pressure during neutral and decent offense, but lack effective defense. The first and most obvious zoner is Hitman, which has two long-range projectiles in its S2 pistols and its S1B shotgun. No other styles fit neatly into the zoner archetype, but I think there's an argument to be made in calling Slugger a zoning style since it has more melee range than any other style in the game with its long-reaching baseball bat. The only other styles that might fit in this category are Sake and Punisher, as they both have projectiles, however neither of them are designed to use them to zone. After zoners are tanks. Tanks are styles that thrive off of having a large health pool, good damage, but very little movement outside of predictable burst movement. The three styles that fit into the tank archetype are Ancient, Tiger, and Ravager, all having high damage output and large health bars. Next up are combo styles, which are styles whose entire game plan centers around getting the combo to deal damage. The primary style in this category is Flash. Many other styles also fit in this category like Tiger, However, Flash is the only one that very safely is only in the combo style archetype. The next style archetype are what I call generalists, which are styles that excel at every individual aspect, but do none of those individual aspects as well as other styles might. Styles that fall under this category are Phoenix, Fighter, Clinch, Legend, Koi, Punisher, and Reborn. Lastly are gimmick styles. Gimmick styles are styles whose entire game plan is centered around one mechanic. For example, Sake is a gimmick style. The reason Sake is a gimmick style is because its entire kit revolves around the S1, which lets you take a drink from your bottle to heal and gain heat. For the majority of the fight, Sake is one of the worst styles in the game, having little mobility, tickling people to death, long cooldowns, and average health. However, when you get 80 heat and use your S3, which is an install heat action that I explained in the previous video, Sake becomes easily the best style in the game until its heat runs out. It has armor on all moves, 4 quick steps, and short cooldowns, which means that it can rapidly heal. The next gimmick style is Mad, which might sound odd as it has the means to be a rushdown considering how quick it is. However, Mad doesn't have particularly good offensive pressure as its second light attack is easily punished if it whiffs, and the style itself doesn't do much damage. The thing that makes Mad what it is, the thing that gives Mad an identity, is its mobility. Mad's entire game plan centers around its movement, and the lack of use outside of funky movement is what makes it a gimmick. After Mad is Insane, which again might sound weird at first. However, Insane is the only true glass cannon on Unusual Force. It does an obscene amount of damage, but it dies if you look at it too threateningly. Insane has more focus on self-preservation and health management than any other style in the game, which is why I'm calling it a gimmick. The fourth gimmick style is Dancer. Dancer is not a great style. As I mentioned earlier, it technically fits into the counter style archetype. However, unlike those styles, the counter is kind of the only thing that Dancer has going for it. It has the worst quick steps in the game, which force it to stand completely still after doing a single one before going on an absurdly long cooldown. And while its damage isn't all that terrible, it's definitely not very good either. Dancer also has the single longest counter in the game, or at least that's what it feels like, which only serves to amplify its one-trick pony nature. The second to last gimmick style is Stomp, which is definitely not a gimmick style, however, it really feels like one. All it has going for it is its combos, which would make you think that it belongs in the combo styles with Flash, and it does, but it just really feels like a gimmick, okay? My final gimmick style is Freelancer. Freelancer is a really sad style. Its whole gimmick is being the single worst style in the game. It tickles people, has bad mobility, has a giant wind-up move, and has one single mix-up to its name. If you ever see a Freelancer player, give them a hug. Not only are they cool, but they're also probably really sad, because their style sucks. You might have noticed that the only style I never mentioned was Dragon. The reason for this is because Dragon is kind of the only style in the game that's like a generalist, but it doesn't really have any real weaknesses. It's kind of just a really good style that excels in all situations. It's not the best style in the game, but it doesn't really fit with my definition of a generalist. That's about all I have for this video. The next video I make will probably be the first specific style guide, unless I think of something else I want to make a video on before doing that. The first style guide you can expect is Rusher, and I'll be going down the list of styles that you can see in the game, like starting from Rusher, then Fighter, then Ravager, and then ending at Reborn. But I'll be skipping styles like Boxer, Punisher, and Legend, because I do not want to learn those styles yet. It's so boring. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you don't want to miss the next video, either being another guide or a style-specific video, please be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it when it comes out. Bye bye!